Do I need God if I have 100% certainty? I would argue no. And there's a couple things, caveats that I would say to that question. The first thought is as human beings, we don't have the capacity to have 100% certainty about anything because we don't see all of reality as it is. That's just true. Anyone you ask about brain and perception and psychology, they will tell you just about. I mean, there are always outliers, but they will tell you that human beings are only able to perceive so much because of our upbringing, our genetics, whatever. I mean, there's a number of things that are preventing me from seeing what is for whatever reason. My emotions, my baggage, my traumas, and that's just true about reality as a whole. So, how can I be certain about anything? And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that everything is just equally like you feel equally about everything. I'm pretty certain that I have a body. Like I can be pretty certain about that. I can be pretty certain that I exist. Right? I can't be 100%. I don't think I can be 100% about anything, really. But I can have a higher degree of certainty towards certain things in my life and lower degrees towards other things. If I live my life as if I have 100% certainty, or if I try to achieve 100% certainty, I think I just live my life in anxiety and a higher degree of control than is necessary for me to function as a human being. The truth is, I have very little control. I have the illusion of control, and that illusion is pretty high. And even like thinking about Einstein's, he has a quote that reality is an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. And I would say the same is true for control. Control can be a very strong and convincing illusion, but it's a persistent one. And there's certain things that happen in our reality that make us question that that uh that control. And the same thing is true about that certainty. So I bring up the question, if I'm 100% certainty about everything or certain about everything, if I have 100% certainty, do I need faith in God? Do I need God? I think no. I think I am my own God in that case, albeit a mini God, because I'm living, I think, in a false reality, and I have delusion about my place in the universe. That's what I would argue as a Christian pastor that is convinced that the Christian framework is a great framework to make sense of reality and make sense of God and how I'm to treat my neighbor and think about myself. And granted, I have this attachment to this faith first and foremost because this is the faith that I was raised in, and this is the faith that is all around me. Now, I don't know if I was born in India, would I be as close to Christianity as I am today? Or if I just chose a different career path. I am a pastor and I got trained to do this. If I chose a different career path, would I see the things that I see now? Would I hold on to the things that I hold on to? Which just brings me back to we are the sum of our lived experiences. And of course we can transcend these, but ultimately we are finite creatures and there's only so much we can know. And I think that could be a very freeing thing. Because on one hand, there's always more to be explored. There's always more questions to be raised as long as I exist. And some might even argue, if you believe in an afterlife, that even when we become people that are in the afterlife with God, we don't become God. Maybe we become more united with God. I don't know how we want to talk about this, but, and I don't know for sure, but maybe we all are always finite to some degree. Maybe we are never infinite and all knowing because we cannot take the place of God. Unless we all become God and we're just kinda absorbed into him, but I don't know if that's the case. I think we'll still have our personality and our there's a individual nature, like, we don't just cease to exist. I don't know. I could be wrong about that, of course, but as a Christian, I think when we receive resurrected bodies, I think that's an indication that there's going to be some type of personality in a individual, persona that's still arranged in some way. I don't just merge with everything, right? In some ways I do, but not ultimately. So going back to my original question, if you have 100% certainty, do you need God? And I would say no. And I think the best way for me to think about that question is to remind myself that I don't have 100% certainty, nor am I expected to have it. So I don't have to figure it all out. And that's a very freeing thing. But I can explore. I have the right to explore. I have the right to question. I have the right to question people and what they've told me and what they taught me because we're all just speaking from where we are. And also, I think this can open me up to other people. If I recognize that I'm limited and I recognize that everyone around me is limited, then there's something that happens when we come together and we are vulnerable and we share what we see and we learn from one another. We need each other way more than we think. And this is just a true fact about reality. I mean, I'm driving, I'm in the car right now. I'm driving in the car that I did not create. I don't even know who invented this particular car. I don't know about all the things that are happening in the engine. I have no idea. I can, of course I can learn, but what I'm saying is I was given so much of what I have. I was given, and I'm the product of what came before me. So there are literally billions of forces outside of my control making things be as they are, and I just get to dance with them. So I don't have to take myself too seriously as I try to look for certainty or try to, I don't know, explore. I don't have to take myself too seriously. I don't have to take others too seriously. I can laugh, I can try my best, I can love, I can experiment. I think this is what a good life is about. And my attachment to rigidity or certainty or having all the right answers might prevent me from living well. And that's the point I'm trying to make. God helps me to see if I humble myself before God, I will see that there's always something that I need outside of me. And that's what comes coming to grips with your finiteness and coming to grips with your inability to be certain about anything. And like I said, there's a spectrum to this. I can be more certain that I have a wife. I can be more certain that I have a job and I'm driving in the car right now, right? As certain as I can be. But once again, I'm limited. And that's a beautiful thing. And it's a freeing thing. If you're willing to surrender into it and not let it bog you down and drain you. So just some thoughts as I'm driving to work this morning. I don't know really where that question or that thought came from. It just kind of came up. Been doing a lot of reading about hell lately. So I think maybe that has raised some stuff within me. Yeah, yeah. So that's probably what it was. This book that I'm reading, what he's doing now is really in the beginning of the book, he's making a case that we don't really believe what we say we believe, especially about something like eternal conscious torment. And he's making a really good point because he's saying that if you really believe that people that don't say the right things or believe the right things will be burned for eternally, for eternity, then you're going to make a stronger effort to go about the conversion process and to be evangelistic. And so it makes sense. I mean, I think some people are trying to be that way. I mean, the people on the street corners probably come the closest to it. The people that are screaming, repent or go to hell or you're going to hell, all that. And they're devoting a lot of their free energy and free time to that. But at the end of the day, those people got to get in the car and go home and they got to sleep and they got to eat. I just think if you really think that people will be burning for all of eternity if they don't subscribe to whatever that you think they should subscribe to, you will be panicked and like driven to make sure that everyone that you think is not going to be there you're going to be working towards getting them there. That's just the reality. I think that would be the most loving thing to do. But what he's arguing is that we don't really think that way. And maybe we don't think that way because we know deep down inside that that is not true. That eternal conscious torment is not true. That we are not going to be burned eternally forever for the things that we do in our 80-year lifespan. There has to be more to God than that. That's the argument he's making in this book. And so we're not saying that hell doesn't exist, but what we are saying is the ways that we have been thinking about hell might need some adjusting. And that's a topic for a whole nother video, but I just want to preview that for you. The book that I'm reading is called Holy Hell, and I'll have a picture of it here. Check it out. Like I said, I'm probably like one chapter in, but it's real good so far. And I have a feeling that I'm going to agree with his basic premise. And, of course, he's not 100% certain. And he even admits that in the book. But he argues that none of us really are. And I think that's really speaking to me right now, where I am in my life. So thank you for listening. Blessings to your day. And don't take yourself too seriously today. Like, relax. Just try your best. Stay open. Be where you are. And have some damn fun.